This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Nope, Wes has not matriculated just yet. Got Justin Jarrett, got Marcus Walsh from WHHI TV. Max will have the night off because Max was on a long bus ride tonight.
And long bus ride.
Yeah, they had the bus ride up to Low Country Leadership, and tough bus ride back after a tough one. Got away from them in the first inning, as it sometimes does with inexperienced ball clubs. But they'll get another chance on Saturday, weather permitting, as weather is a big story that we'll be talking about over the next few days. Only one casualty, as far as I can tell, tonight, and that was the Colleton County May River softball game, which they will try again tomorrow. Forecast tomorrow is a little dicey too, but we'll see how it goes. But the good news is the ground has been so dry that it absorbed it quickly. Our field, we got a lot of rain out in Hardyville, but it sucked it right up. No standing water this evening when I was out there for soccer. So we, unless we get a lot of water tomorrow, we should be in good shape and they should be able to get that one in. But the rest of them got played, and we got scores scrolling across the bottom. There's a couple of scores that I'm still looking for finals on, and we'll see if those have gone final since I last checked on the Game Changer. But we did have a number of finals already, including on the softball side, Beaufort staying alive, 15-5 over Bluffton. So the Bobcats eliminated. The Seahawks were knocked out. Airport beat them 12-0, so they're done. On the baseball side, May River survives 7-2 over Gray Collegiate. It was a 2-1 game for a good while, and they broke it open. I believe Coach Mullis will be joining us later, and Wes was at that one, and he'll be joining us when he gets back home. Here's the one I'm looking for. Let me see if we got a final here. Oh, we do. Season comes to an end for the Bluffton Bobcats baseball team. They lose 10-6 to Hartsville, so they are done. But Hilton Head stays alive.
Yeah,
1-0 over Greer. Some serious chaos ensuing, and I got a text from Matt Bowman a little bit ago. He said chaos caused. Seahawks take down Greer 1-0. Beretti with a long ball. Phoenix Shapiro, 7 innings of shutout baseball. Young team with just 2 seniors in the lineup, growing up a little bit tonight. So big win for Hilton Head tonight. They'll stay alive. They get to spend 8 more hours on the bus to go back to Fountain Inn, which is all they wanted to do after kind of getting embarrassed in that first one. So they're having a great time. They're making memories. The road trips are where it's at, man. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
That's where the memories are made.
Never had a road trip quite like that when I was managing our basketball team all those years ago when I was in high school. But yeah, it's where they're made for sure. You really have that camaraderie. I actually had a couple of really long choir road trips, including when I was in high school. We took a bus from Massillon, Ohio at Perry High School all the way down to Disney World my senior year. That was 19 hours on a bus. That was a really long trip.
Wow. I think our longest bus trip was to
Branson.
We went down to Branson one time, and we stopped at the Bass Pro Shops in Springfield, Missouri. And we went to see a performance at some country theater out there, the Bald Knobbers. It was quite some time. But I remember that vividly because I was listening to Blue Jays Phillies World Series on a bootlegged Walkman that I had snuck in there, and listened to that on the way home. Heard Joe Carter's home run I heard the call of that on the bus ride home from Branson. My longest road trip, though. Yeah, gotta be right.
I think it was 93. I was just a
little guy. About right.
I was about 4 or 5 years old.
That sounds about right. Maybe later than that.
I think it was 93.
Yeah, 93 sounds right. That sounds right. And then the other one was got to go to Phoenix. Got on a plane for National Business Professionals of America convention because I was on the parliamentary procedure team, which was basically
parliamentary procedure.
Basically just improv comedy. It was my role. I was just the guy who always punched it up with the jokes for myself. So
you do that well.
Yeah. I like to do that. It's fun. I like to make people laugh. But I digress. Some other scores: Marlboro County knocked out Battery Creek baseball 15-4. Woodland was up big on Hampton County, I think 20-8 at last report. Bridges Prep stayed alive, 5-4 over Marion, and Low Country Leadership beat Hardyville 16-0. But not all was lost for the Canes. I'll show you a highlight in a bit of Hardyville boys soccer with a thrilling win, golden goal, 2-1 over Green Sea Floyds. And it was a 3-0 night for Jasper County 1A soccer teams. Ridgeland 3-2 over Palmetto Scholars, and Royal Live Oaks 2-1 in overtime over Charleston Math and Science. So Jasper County filling out 3 of the final 4 in that bracket. Royal will have the top seed St. John's, I believe, and then it'll be Hardyville and Ridgeland one more time, a third
Yeah,
time.
love
No
seeing
love
it.
lost. It'll be quite a battle for the lower state championship. So
To
looking
go
forward to that.
back real to go
Yeah.
back real quick, if I can, to that Woodland Hampton County game. Do you have an inning update? Because I'm taking a look on
Well, it
the
was getting late.
on the list of the games here tonight, and I see 15-8 in the bottom of
Yeah,
the sixth.
it's now 21-8 in the bottom of the 7th.
Okay, so I'm a little
Yeah.
bit back.
Yeah. No, I just hadn't updated it since then. But yeah, that's where we are now. 21-8 in the bottom of the 7th for the Hampton Woodland game. The Canes need a miracle. They did score
Yeah.
5 in the 6th, but they're going to need 13 to tie, 14 to win here in the bottom of the 7th. Stranger things have
Saying
happened.
there's a chance.
Stranger things have happened in baseball, certainly. And then a final couple of scores. Hampton County soccer boys bowed out 8-0 against Philip Simmons, and Swansea beat Battery Creek 4-1 in the 3A boys. Buford Academy girls, though, beat Oakbrook Prep 4-1. So BA, both teams will play for state championships in Skiza. And we're looking for one more score. Hilton Head Prep, Spartanburg Christian
I'm on
girls
it.
soccer. I've been searching for that one. I'm gonna, if I was a betting man, I'd put it on the Dolphins, but I don't know that with any certainty. So while you're looking for that, I'll shout out our presenting sponsor, our all-star sponsor, our original sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. Been with us since the beginning, still supporting what we do here at Loco Sports, as they support all things sports in the Loco. You'll see their banners up all over the place, and you'll see the Mickelson squad out and about anytime you're out around sporting events, especially at HHCA, but certainly at Oscar Frazier Park. The Mickelsons are bound to be there, and they're ready to help you every step of the way with your legal needs as well. They're official real estate closing attorney of Loco Sports and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, but they can help you with all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm, our all-star sponsor and presenting sponsor of tonight's Loco Sports Lowdown. And speaking of HHCA, they've got their ticket punched to the state championship game and series rather, and they now have an opponent. And that opponent, who did Wes tell us it was? Ben Lippen
I believe
will
it's
be the
Ben Lippen. Yeah.
opponent. Yeah, it'll be Ben Lippen versus HHCA in the championship series starting Monday. Um, I surprisingly or interestingly, Ben Lippen also first round opponent for JP2 in the Skiza softball tournament starting tomorrow, which I just came across these brackets. So we can take a look at those real quick. La, 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 la. Let me push the right button. Here we go. There you go. Skiza softball brackets, 4A, JP2 against Ben Lippen to start, and then the winner will get Wilson Hall or Augusta Christian. The loser will also get one of those. Basically, you got a 4-team bracket there, just like your district brackets in high school league. This one has a little play-in loop, so there's 5 in the lower bracket. None of them of interest to us. So we'll see how that plays out. And then 2A, Thomas Hayward taking on Carolina Academy, cross schools against Lee Academy. Potential for a matchup of those two at some point in this little 4-team bracket. And the other half Excuse me.
Salud.
You know, there's going to be at least
Salud.
two.
He's
I've
got at least
recently
two more in
increased
him,
from a max
folks.
of 3 to a max of 4. It's only happened in the past year. Used
It's
to max out
allergy
at 3.
season in the low country.
Oh,
Always
they've been
is.
killing me. I tried
Whew.
to switch up the allergy medication too because it wasn't being super effective, but I don't think this one's taking hold
Salud,
yet.
there's 3.
There's the third. There may be a fourth. Haven't found another one of our teams here, but here in the 3A, bottom half of the bracket, Carlton Prep, which is a quality squad with a good pitcher in Sydney Stivender. Um, they should be able to make a little noise here, I would think. I would think. So that's your skis of softball. We're still not quite there as far as the depth of skis of softball around here, but we did have the South Carolina Association of Christian Schools state champion with Legacy Christian, the mighty Labs, bringing home the title. So proud of those girls. I like those girls. They're cool. Um, but here's some news that we came across today, Marcus, because it's not all playoffs all the time.
Oh,
We've been pondering and wondering, and especially our friend Jimmy Searson has been really curious
yes.
about Whale Branch and whether they were going to announce a football coach hire. And we had heard some different rumors and rumblings about people
Multiple.
that were in the running there. And I heard that maybe a couple of candidates passed for various reasons, which I mean, there's nothing nefarious there. It's just sometimes you get the
It's a
job offer,
big job.
you have questions too, and
Right.
sometimes they can't answer them in the way that you want, and you compare your situation and you like it better where you are. Um,
Yes.
but they went inside, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing at all. They went with Willie White, who has been a mainstay there, not just with the football program, but he essentially was kind of the interim AD. I think he was, in fact, the interim AD for a while after Carlos Cave transitioned to the district before they hired Casey Sullivan. He's just kind of a veteran, old head, institutional knowledge. He coaches basketball, he coaches or wrestling. I'm sorry, he coaches soccer. So he's involved in everything at the school on an administrative level as well. So I think it's a steady hand. They made it as an interim hire, so essentially he will get this year to see how it goes, and then they'll reevaluate at that point, and he will probably reevaluate as well because it's a lot more to be a head football coach than most sports, and certainly it's a lot more than being the assistant coach. Everything
No
falls on your
question.
shoulders, and there's a heavy load to carry. The shoulders that are leaving are pretty broad with Jerry Hatcher. So, but I think Willie has great rapport with the kids, with the community, understands what makes Whale Branch special, what makes it what it is, and will fight to preserve that culture rather than
Yep.
looking to change it. And I think that's a good thing. And also he's a superman. I mean, Willie is a terrific person, great servant leader, and I really hope for him that it goes well and he becomes the head coach at Whale Branch for a long time.
I mean, you know him a lot better than I even know him, but collectively, we both know him well. And I couldn't agree more with what you said, JJ. That's exactly what they need, because when you lose Jerry Hatcher, you're losing a legend. They
Yeah,
they need somebody that knows the program, that knows the area, that knows what it takes to coach and be there for the kids and all the different aspects that entails. It's a lot more than just X's and O's, folks. And Willie's that guy. I wish him nothing but the best of luck in this first year as the interim head coach. And like you said, we'll see what happens beyond there if he gets a second or whatnot. But I think this was a good move for Whale Branch, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck.
yeah, and I don't think they like settled. I think they swung. I think they swung on a couple people and it didn't
Yeah,
pan out. Maybe they got another job that was a little more appealing or something, or just decided to stay where they were. Um, and it got late. Like
right.
and you got to a point where you're like, man, do we really want to
Got
drag
to
this on any longer? We
make
want to get
something
spring
happen.
football in. We need to make a schedule. And you have a guy there who's willing to do it on an interim basis and see if he's the guy. And I don't think he's the kind of guy that if he's not the guy, he'll know it and he'll tell you, I'm not the guy, go find your guy. He's not going to get in his feelings about it. It's not going to sour relationships, I don't think. So we'll see how it goes, but I think it's a solid hire to just keep the status quo going there. Just somebody. The other thing is that a school like that, as I now know personally, relies heavily on volunteer assistance because you
Yep.
only get so many stipends, and some of these guys at some of these big schools get a little spoiled because they got 10 or 12 guys on stipend, and they got all these position coaches and all this stuff, and at a place like Whale Branch, you might have 3 or 4 on stipend, and the rest you're really relying on volunteers. And I'm using rough numbers. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I know that at some of the smaller schools, it might be your coordinators are on stipend, and that's it. Everybody else
Yep.
is a volunteer. Um, and so, I think that's probably something that came up in interviews too. It was like, all right, well, I got 6 guys I want to bring with me, and they're like, oh, coach, we only have 4 stipends, and 2 of them are already filled, or 3 of them are already filled. Like, that can be a deal breaker for a coach too. So Willie will retain a lot of those people. I suspect they'll be bought into continuing what they've been doing out there at Whale Branch, and I think we'll see continued success. Maybe a little bump in the road early. Certainly Hatcher, ton of expertise there walking out the door,
Yep.
and a lot of passion and just tremendous leader. So, but he's created a culture, and culture lives on. And I think the people
Absolutely.
there will continue it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited for football season.
No doubt.
Right here
You
when
know,
we get
I'm
to spring. We get to spring playoffs. I start thinking about summer. What am I doing this summer? Well, shoot, I'm getting ready for football season.
and
So I
now
start kind of
it's
getting
getting to be
excited
that
about
time.
football season. Yeah.
I actually was talking to Jeremy Pope last year. I came in, I think it was like May 15th, and he already had the tentative schedule out. It did end up changing, obviously, because of some things. I think I'm going to wait an extra couple of weeks for him this year because he's had a pretty busy go of things. Uh, Becoming a dad again for the second time
Awesome
and
stuff.
whatnot. He's just a super busy guy. So I think I'm gonna wait a few more weeks, and I might even push it towards like the third week of June, right before I head to Ohio for a week. But after Sam and I get back from the Ohio trip, it'll be right before the 4th of July, and that's when it really starts to sink in because you got about a month until Media Day, which you and
Oh
I
my
will
gosh.
definitely be at. So that's really what kind of signals it for me for sure. Um, in terms of that, I've tried to look for schedules to kind of get a glimpse of who we're going to see. Haven't seen anything yet, obviously, because we still have what, at least 2 weeks of school left, if not a little bit more for the spring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think most teams probably have their schedules together. Some of them may even be out there. I haven't really gone looking yet.
I guess
Um,
I have seen a couple on social media, but I've been looking more at
you'll
like
start
the
seeing them more and
websites,
more.
X
They'll
Preps, and
as
that
they
type
get
of thing.
finalized. Sometimes you're just waiting on one game,
Sure, of
but you can't put it out until you get it finalized. You don't want to put out the
course.
graphic and then add a game.
Right. Like, oh
Um,
crap. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But so I told you I teased it earlier. I got a good highlight. So tonight I'm repping McCracken tonight because first stop tonight after school. Well, actually, softball practice was canceled, so I got to sneak in a mini little nap, and then I was off to
I
McCracken
bet that
for
felt good.
oh, it was nice. For the I didn't want to wake up though. I had to get up, go to the athletic awards at McCracken, which I got to be, assistant wrestling coach, handing out the awards, but also proud dad because I got to give the MVP award to my son Truman for wrestling,
Awesome.
and then also, he was part of he was a starter on the region championship baseball team. So been a great 8th grade year for him and a great time at McCracken, and we're excited about life at May River next year. But great to honor the kids at McCracken and the next wave of Loco stars. But then I busted it back to the Ville because I got the word just as I was leaving that they were going to overtime. Los Canes versus Green Sea Floyds, which brought a tough team down on a long road trip, and they came for battle. Tied at 1, going to OT. They played through the first OT, the 2 10-minute periods, flipping sides, and no score. So they go to golden goal in playoffs. And I advocate that we add this in the regular season. Before we go to penalties, just play 2 5-minute periods of golden goal. That 10 minutes will take less time than the penalties will take. And
Right.
more often than not, the game will get decided in those 10 minutes because you got tired legs and tired
Yep.
minds, and somebody's going to make a mistake. Or somebody's going to get sent off, and then you've got a man advantage and somebody's going to score. So I don't know why we can't just incorporate that, because the penalties take forever and they're stupid and nobody likes them. But anyway, in the 5-minute golden goal, it did not take long. I got there just as the golden goal period was starting. The Canes had a couple nice build-ups, just misfired, and then they had one go out for a corner, and it was my guy Edgar. Shoot, here we go. My guy Edgar. Oh yeah, they were talking about the Nats. They were not familiar with them. I said that's our 12th man. There's Edgar with the corner. Sends it in. Ball's loose. It pops out to Tilapia. Darlin Hernandez. Tilapia for the win. Los Canes. Darlene. So happy for Tilapia, for the boys. Tough battle tonight against Green Sea Floyds. There's their coach. He was a cool dude. I like that guy. He looked like he was headed to a Sublime concert after that. I liked him. I liked his vibes. But no, they brought a squad down and battled us on our home field. But a little soggy, but field held up well, and the Canes get the W, so they will advance and face rival Ridgeland on
Should be a fun matchup.
Monday. Is that Monday? I gotta look at the bracket here. Yeah, it'll be on 9, 10, yeah, Monday. So we're looking at Monday. Royal Live Oaks, presumably against St. John's, unless they got upset by Baptist Hill. Ridgeland against Hardyville, and then the Lower State Finals will be on Friday. So Jasper County. Who's next? Nixon? Ridgeland. Ridgeland. Good stuff. Saw Misa tonight. He made it out to the Ville, although he left. It's possible I brought good vibes when I arrived. It's also possible that Misa left with the bad vibes because he left when I arrived and we won like
Oh,
5 minutes after I arrived. So one of the two happened. I'm not sure which. But who's next, Nixon? Who's next, Coach said? Ridgeland. Um, but how about Buford Academy and the year they're having with soccer? It looks like Hilton Head Prep may join them in sending both teams to state, but awesome stuff for BA to have both their
yeah.
boys and girls soccer teams going to the state championship. Big time, big time.
That is great stuff. We talk about what they do on the football field, battling with the likes there in the area north of the Broad. To see them getting some things going with spring sports too is really good because their basketball program, a little bit of a rough
Took a little step
shakedown
down
with
this year. Yeah,
some
certainly.
things, and even possibly some other winter sports. So it's good to see them back on the map, certainly with spring sports.
Yeah, no doubt. Trying to see. Looks like the girls will play Cambridge Academy, a 2-1 winner over Charleston Collegiate. Teams did not meet in the regular season, but BA handled Charleston Collegiate easily both times they met. So you'd think they would have the upper hand in this one for the girls' state championship. And they've won a couple in a row. They've got Kylie Good, who's really good. And Keely good. Keely good is really good. Um, if she if it's Kylie, she should go by Keely because Keely good's really good. Is like Roy Kent worthy, right? That's like Roy Kent
Um,
worthy. Keely good is
I'm
really
not.
good. You don't know Ted
I,
Lasso? Oh yeah.
no, I need to get
Oh
on that.
man. Yeah, you seem like a Ted Lasso guy. I'm surprised by that. That you're not a Ted Lasso guy. It is pure. It is almost corny at times, but it is beautiful. Beautiful. So the boys game though,
Sherlock, need to get on that.
BA 14-4 against Marlboro 10-2, and Marlboro hasn't lost since March 26th. So
Wow,
that should be a good battle. Our friend Ian
streak.
Leslie coaching that boys soccer team at BA and got them playing for the state championship. Good to see.
It's awesome
TJ
stuff.
tackle. Um, so that is where we stand tonight. Wes coming in for the late shift here in a minute, but I'll shout a couple of sponsors. We got Hudson Seafood House on the Docks back for another year on the Loco Booster Club. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. Presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode aired last night. Was that last night? 2 nights ago? Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
I can't keep track of the days anymore, but it was a good one. Still getting texts every night from Curry and them. They had many jokes about the Pope, which we'll talk about the Pope. There's some sports connections there.
Yes, indeed.
New episode of Under the Bus is out. It's presented by Hudson's Seafood House on the Docks. Go see them on the island. Hilton Head Furniture has great furniture handcrafted up in Hickory, North Carolina, brought down here to sell to you, to keep in your home for a long time because it's quality stuff. The Satola family only dealing with the best stuff. Hilton Head Furniture, our newest sponsor, our almost newest sponsor, one of our newest sponsors in the Loco Booster Club. Our newest one is Coach Barron from Hilton Head Prep, the basketball coaching legend who swept into the low country,
Awesome
took a
guy.
bunch of state titles, and now he's helping you improve your view of the low country with HHI, windows and doors, new business on the scene, helping you out with those windows and doors. And that's something you don't think about, but it makes a big difference in your house. The curb appeal, certainly, but
No doubt.
just the daily pleasure of just that clear view looking out the window, especially if you got a nice view. If you got some water back there, you don't want to be looking through filmy windows. And you gotta have nice doors.
That's right.
That's like having a nice house and nasty looking doors. That's like going out with dirty shoes on, man. You gotta put them kicks on. You gotta put them
Yeah.
kicks on, Marcus. But anyway, that's HHI windows and doors. Getting loose with it on a Thursday night. I'm tired. It was field trip day today. I took the kids on a field trip. Three
Nice.
teachers
Where,
took
where to?
69 children on a field trip. We went to the Kate Center at Ridgeland Secondary Academy of Excellence, and we took part in the Junior Achievement of South Carolina. Does this really cool mobile finance simulation where they went in and they each had Surface tablets where they put in their information, they picked their avatar, they answered some questions about their interests and stuff, and it gave them their profession, their monthly income, their relationship status, and how many children they had. And then they went from station to station and had to budget for home improvements and their car payment and their housing payment and all these things, and watch their money dwindle. Childcare was one that had them all kind of shook. They were
A
thinking twice.
real life
They were
simulation,
thinking twice.
folks.
I was gonna have 5 kids, but I might only have one now. So it was really cool. My friend Hina Patel was one of the organizers of it, and I'm really grateful that she reached out and made sure that we got to go because it was awesome. And the kids, behaved themselves professionally and got a lot out of it
Good.
and had a good experience. So it was
I
good.
have a
What's up, Wes?
question for
Yeah,
you.
How's
go
it
ahead.
going?
Was
Nice.
veterinary costs involved? Were pets involved with that, especially knowing that you have pets and I have pets?
I don't know, but I know there was
Because they're not cheap.
there were a lot of categories. There was like a self-care category, there was entertainment, there was travel, there was I don't know that veterinary cost was included, but that's a good point because you can't hardly that's a big investment.
It's
It is
huge.
no joke. And then one of them gets,
Sick.
starts licking all their hair off, and you're like, I'd love to just let this go,
Just
but we should probably take you to the
just
doctor.
dealt with that the other
Um,
day with one of ours.
but and then the next thing you know, they're pulling teeth, and you're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
But Wes, welcome, buddy. You, I believe, have just made it back from the tank, where it was
Indeed.
a really good game until it wasn't. I mean, it was a really good game,
It was a
period.
good
But
one
the
for the
Sharks,
Sharks.
Right.
yeah, it
But
was. But it was close for
I
much of
felt
the
that
night.
I felt that it was going to be a tight one. May River had some moments where it felt like Gray Collegiate was going to get back in it at several points as this game went along, but the Sharks held steady, and I was really impressed by the resolve in this game against a Gray Collegiate team that was really scrapping at moments, but sometimes it all comes down to pitching, and they got what they needed from Morgan tonight. Mika Morgan getting the start,
Yeah,
and he got them out of some big jams, especially one early on, then another with second and third and 2 outs, and picked up a huge strikeout. And this game is certainly a lot closer than the score indicated, although May River definitely flexed its muscles at the plate. They out hit him 16-5, but it just felt
Wow.
like Great Collegiate was going to find a way to strike, and there's a couple of walks early on, but this Shark offense was really the big story. Mishik, Morgan not only was he terrific on the mound, he picked up a pair of hits to the plate, but the big standout in this one was Mr. Putnam.
Talon Putnam,
Yeah,
Talon.
Talon
3 for
Putnam.
4.
Yeah, Talon Putnam was
Have a
terrific.
Do
day.
He was
chickens
seeing the
have
ball well.
large talons?
They do.
Yeah,
Yes.
They do.
yes. But both the Mishik brothers were great. They were showing their prolific hitting abilities, and then Conte at the bottom of the lineup came
Yeah.
through a couple times as well. But I just look back to a couple of strikeouts by Micah Morgan, where Gray Collegiate was knocking the door, trying to get back in this game. But you need clutch pitching this time of year, and outstanding start for Morgan. And Sharks certainly showed themselves at the dish tonight. A couple of guys, especially Putnam, were able to deliver at the plate, and they made it look pretty easy tonight in terms of picking up 16 hits throughout 6 innings of work in there. So May River will be on to Airport on Saturday, and tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if they take both of those games. Now, it's not easy to win 2 on the road because they'd have to, even if they win Saturday, they have to play because they're the lower seed. They would have to play Monday again on the road. Not easy to do. But the way this May River team is swinging the bat right now, and if they can keep that up, it's all about pitching at this point. Airport definitely has an advantage because they have more arms. May River will have to, find to get some good work out of the guys they have left. But right now, the way this Shark team is swinging the bat, I think they
Yep.
have a good shot at potentially winning 2 in a row against a pretty solid
I do
Airport.
too.
That should be a really good game on Saturday. I think the Sharks are heading in the right direction right now. And great turn at home. It was a 7 o'clock first pitch. It was supposed to be 6:30. Delayed a bit due to the rain, but still a fantastic turnout at the tank tonight, and fun one to take in. And I think the Shark team has the opportunity to go out of the winners bracket or come out of the losers bracket and win this district.
I think I agree. I mean, I saw him
Yeah.
last week against Hilton Head, and you were talking about Micah Morgan there, Wes. I saw him on last Friday. It was against Hilton Head, and he looked outstanding in that ball game too. They do have a very prolific lineup. Great
Yeah.
to see. Great to hear that Talon was able to get some things going at the plate. I saw it firsthand last week as they took on Hilton Head that they execute really well and
They
they
do. And they
don't
played great defense
waste
tonight
at
too.
bats.
Their
That
defense
that
was
too.
really impressive.
9 guys had hits tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trace Mishik, Micah
Great.
Morgan, Dylan Mishik, Aaron Guthrie and
Varley. Yep.
Conti each with 2, and then Putnam with 3.
Varley had 1.
So yeah, Varley had 1. He also had an RBI. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different guys with RBIs. So
Yep.
yeah,
Production
it's a
from that
really
guy.
deep lineup, and if they roll in there hot, I like their chances on Saturday, and then you get into a 1-game situation
Yeah, anything can
on
happen
Monday,
in
right?
one
So,
game. Yep.
well, and they would have Conti coming back at some point,
Right.
but they haven't thrown Tyson.
No.
They could also let Hargis ride a little bit if they needed to. He's been the closer, but if they needed him to go 5, he could do it. I don't have any question about that. He's been a starter before, and I think he's thrown CGs. So they got the arms. I'm not concerned about that. I think they have a real shot to get it done Saturday and Monday against Fairport.
Unfortunately, Bluffton season is over. They
Yeah,
lost to
without
Hartsville. So, yeah, as you would expect, there will be Buford against Hartsville on Saturday for the that district
yeah,
championship. Buford was able to take
that'll
the
be
first
at
victory.
Buford. But then if Buford doesn't win Saturday, they'll have to go to Hartsville on Monday, right?
Oh boy,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's
So
the one
they'll
that
want to get
Buford
it
would love
done.
to take care of on Saturday. You do not want to have to go back up to Hartsville for
Right.
when you take all game.
Be interesting to see who they
I
throw because Hudson will be eligible to come back, but they have other
well, I think
guys
you got to go with
because
your best guy. In
yeah.
this, you don't want to take your especially when you're home. You want to go with your ace. You want to go with your best guy if he's ready. That's just
Well,
my
Gunner's not eligible, and I think Gunner's
right.
their best
The
guy.
best,
But
like I said, the
Hudson
best guy that's
is
available right now. Obviously,
maybe
Hollinsworth just threw a gem a couple days ago, but
uh-huh.
you want to go with the guy
So
you can trust in a game like this because this is your best chance of winning and moving on is winning at
right.
home.
But the tricky part with Huddy is,
Without
do you want him behind the plate because you feel like you're better with him behind the plate? My point, I guess, is that they have other arms. They have Womack, they have Rast, they have some guys that haven't thrown yet in this tournament that they can turn to. So we'll see what they choose to do there if they try to pitch off, so to speak, and try to be lined up to throw Hudson and Gunner back to back in a 3-game best of 3, next week. So they're in good shape. They're in real good shape. But Hartsville, a formidable opponent. They handled them pretty easily the first time. We'll see how it goes this time around. And Hilton Head, Wes, your Seahawks are still alive.
1-0.
1-0 over Greer.
How about
Another
that?
8 hours on the bus back to
Yeah,
Fountain
do it
Inn to try to
again
avenge
on
that
Saturday.
17-1.
Yeah, so we'll have to go back to
Buckle.
Fountain Inn with it. It's going to be a big time task right there for the Seahawks. But hey, no matter what happens at this point, I mean, great playoff run, and they've been scrappy. It's not easy to go back and forth to the upper state 3 times, and this will be the fourth. Or they well, I guess this will be
They
the third
stayed
time.
for the first 2,
Yeah,
but
they
then they
stayed the
had to
first
make the
time,
trip.
but
Yeah.
this will be the third trip back and forth. So commend what the Seahawks have done, and you never know what can
Absolutely.
happen if they can get the first one. Unfortunately, they'll have to go again if they won't get any more home games
Yeah.
until the next round. So they see
I
what
would
they can
assume
do.
that they could go ahead and stay over, though, if they do win
I would
Saturday.
Well,
think.
there is school on Monday, so well, I mean, I guess
Yeah, but they're not.
potentially
But they would
right.
have to leave so early that they wouldn't even need to go to
True,
school on
true.
Monday.
Yeah, I guess they could
I don't
because
know.
yeah, they could.
That should be
Obviously,
their
you
reward. If
gotta
they
win the
win
first
Saturday,
one
they should
before.
get to stay in a hotel Sunday. And I guess that is 2 nights at hotels, though. That's pricey. That's pricey. So you may be sleeping on the bus ride back and riding back up Monday. Um, but regardless, they seem to be having good vibes on those bus rides. So I'm sure they're
Yeah.
happy to keep it rolling. And the crazy thing is, if they do advance, they're still in the upper state bracket. So they're
Yeah,
going to have to play a best 2 out of 3 against somebody from another
at
upper
least they'll
state.
have a home game if they make it to the next round because it'd be
Right.
but still they gotta beat Fountain Inn twice, so that's not certainly not easy. But we'll see.
No.
This team has proven that they can scrap and claw and see if they can put something pretty special together. But credit to the Seahawks for what they did tonight, and shouting out the guy on the mound
Steven
who was the
Shapiro.
big anchor and getting it done. Shapiro, full complete game shutout, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts. So what a job from Phoenix Shapiro to keep that season going.
I
It was
swear it
awesome
feels
to
like
see.
yesterday we were talking about him like pitching in like 10U All Stars or something. Like it seems like not that long ago I was watching him in the All Star tournaments at Oscar Frazier and the Crossings and stuff, and now he's throwing a CG shutout to keep the Seahawks alive. That's one of the things I love about what we do is getting to follow the kids' journey and
Yeah.
see so many chapters in their story and then finally eventually see where it ends up. So cool, man. So cool. It's a beautiful thing. All right, boys, I'm going to shout out the last round of sponsors and then I'm going to get out and let you boys finish it up so I can get to bed. But Base Hit Life is our baseball and softball themed apparel sponsor. They got some cool styles that are themed for Diamond Life. So live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Cole's our official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club is our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. If you want to take your skills on the mat to the next level next season, it starts this summer at Reverence Wrestling Club. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country is getting our floors so clean, your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barber Shop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. You might see a celebrity there from the Loco universe. Like one time, Tony O'Banner, who's a man of much mystery right now. We're hearing rumors that,
Yes.
he's being courted. Every year we
Very
hear
much so.
rumors that he's being courted, and he always ends up back at Thomas Hayward. But seems to be a little smoke this year. His longtime coach is off to Hampton County as the offensive coordinator. So as we were saying earlier, Marcus, we're starting to get excited about football. That hot stove's cooking.
Stay tuned, folks.
I'm going to get out of here, but I'm sure, Wes, you probably want to tag in on what we talked about earlier about Whale Branch naming Willie White as the interim head coach, and we'll see how it goes with him this year. But I'm going to leave it to you, boys. Thanks for all you do. Thanks to everybody watching tonight, and I'll see you next time. You boys stay loco for us.
See you, JJ.
Well, thank you, JJ, for starting us off, and Marcus, good to be beside you again here tonight, and just running through more scores here. We saw some softball teams go down tonight for the season. Yep. Beaufort eliminating Bluffton 15-5, but the Eagles go on. Airport 12, Hilton High nothing. So the Seahawks are finished for the year. And then we had a postponement today. It's interesting to see because this was the only game that was postponed, and you kind of think they could have played it if they waited a little long. I guess because the local on loco game. I am surprised that they called it as early as they did. I understand why. I just felt like just looking at the field, and sometimes there are people who have better insight than me. I thought they would be able to play that tonight.
I was also surprised that, and of course you're talking about May River softball.
Yeah.
That baseball played, but softball didn't, because of the fact that they are so close to each other. It actually works out a little bit.
Yes, I think that's maybe the rationale behind that.
My
is that
schedule
the trip is
as
a
well,
lot shorter for Carleton versus Gray Collegiate. So,
and that's a good point.
If there was a chance that you could play, that is why we had a Gray Collegiate hanging around, and we got that one in. But
and it is true, a lot more dirt on the softball field. That's probably what did it.
Yes,
for sure. Even though it's just walking distance from one field to the next. Right. But I'll definitely be able to get out there and catch that matchup tomorrow between May River and Battery Creek. That should be a lot of fun.
Indeed, I'm pumped for that one. Should be an exciting. I mean, that was the game I was really excited for. I was excited for this May River baseball game, but this softball clash between two powerhouses in the Low Country going to be a ton of fun to take in. tomorrow, which we shouldn't have any weather problems. The forecast looked pretty good.
Yeah,
For
it's
tomorrow.
may rain a little bit in the morning, but I
Yeah.
figure they're gonna have I would think if they have a tarp, they'll
Yeah.
have it on the field, and it'll definitely be dried up,
Yeah, it
and
looks
and
like
getting drier and warmer with some sunshine by mid
yeah.
morning.
The big issue
6:30
is
first
Saturday.
pitch. So
Saturday is
yeah,
going to be the big issue.
Saturday and Sunday don't look great.
Yeah. Well, we don't have anything Sunday, but Saturday we have a
That's
couple of
true.
soccer games, and soccer will play as long as it's not like lightning all the time.
Very much like football, right?
Yes, so they'll play into small to medium sized rain shower. Of course, it's raining like heavy. They wouldn't play, but um, I guess that's the thing to worry about. If we get thunderstorms, then yes, we could have some issues with getting those games. And currently, we have a doubleheader set for Saturday. We have Bluffton Aiken at 2 and May River North Augusta at 5. So a nice fun day of soccer there on Saturday.
Right.
We'll definitely get into more of that. And also, we have a bunch of state championships in Skeeza. So we have a lot going on in the soccer department on Saturday. But back to some scores from tonight. Some more baseball scores for you. Of course, you mentioned the one I was at 7-2. May River, pretty dominant display on offense. And shout out to Morgan for his job on the mound.
Yeah, goodness.
Throughout that game. So they
pitcher.
move on to face Airport on Saturday. Hartsville 10, Bluffton 6, your final there. So Bluffton season is over. Hilton Head, of course, survives 1-0 over Greer. And Marlboro County 15-4, eliminating Battery Creek. Hampton is looks like they are going to see their season end as well. 21-8, the last score I saw.
Yes, or Hampton was losing 21-8
yes, so,
in the first half. JJ and I talked
about
that.
Bridges Prep surviving
Good win
5-4 over Marion, so good for the Bucks. Holding on for picking up a narrow win over Marion in 2A. See if I can find some more details on that one. Pulling up the box score real quick. And it was a walk-off, another walk-off. We had a couple yesterday. It was a walk-off walk. Fridley, get the full name in there to shout him out. Blake Fridley with the walk-off walk for Bridges Prep with the bases loaded. So that drove in the winning run, and the Bucks move on. The Bucks stay alive this season. So they get 5-4. Yep.
Unfortunately, a tough one for Hardyville tonight.
Indeed.
As they lost 16-0 to Low Country Leadership.
Yeah, but they're still alive. They will be in action, guessing Saturday, from the looks of it.
Sounds right.
Yeah. And then on the boys soccer side, of course, the Hardyville Hurricanes with the OT thriller 2-1 over Green Sea Floyds. And wouldn't you know it? Ridgeland Hardyville on Monday. Because the Jags knocked off Palmetto Scholars. Oh my goodness. How epic is that going to be? Just years removed from these two schools being one, and now they're facing off in the playoffs. Oh boy, that is going to be a heck of a match. Now,
you're a soccer fan. Get your popcorn ready for that one.
Hey, these are the kinds of stories I love. I get myself way too hyped maybe over these kinds of things, but hey, I love it. I love myself a good story, and that's yeah. But yeah,
great one there.
That's it, and not only that, but they upset the 3 seed in Palmetto Scholars, 3-2. So that will be played in Hardyville Monday night. Should be exciting over there. Pending weather, of course. We've had just a bunch of rain coming these next few days, so I have to keep an eye on that. And then Royal Live Oaks, an OT win over Charleston Math and Science, 2-1. So they're on the other side of the bracket, and they would get most likely St. John's. They probably beat Baptist Hill, but we'll have to see officially. But it'll probably be Royal Live Oaks, and potentially could be a fun lower state final if Royal Live Oaks advances further, and they play either Ridgeland or Hardyville. So we have a guaranteed team in the lower state final. It'll be the Jaguars or the Hurricanes. So
Let me
that
ask
is,
you this, Wes. We
yeah.
were looking, JJ and I, earlier for a Spartanburg Christian Hilton Head Prep girls soccer score, and I
Oh,
couldn't find one. JJ
give a
couldn't
quick
either.
look at it. Sometimes it can be hard to find those skis scores. That's it's never easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will keep looking. I will keep looking. And
Got a couple other
yeah,
scores too, with Philip
yeah, we do.
Simmons with the 8-0 win over Hampton
Philip
County,
Simmons 8-0. Yep, and then
and
Swansea
over Battery Creek
Swansea
4-1.
City. Swansea City.
3-8.
4-1 over Battery Creek. Not the English football team, but Swansea.
Right.
The school 4-1 over Battery Creek. And then I'm still looking for that Spartanburg Christian on the prep score, but I can tell you that Buford
The
Academy
only one that we're missing.
4-1, and so they're headed to the state championship, joining the boys team at
Yeah,
Buford Academy.
I was telling JJ earlier, how great that is. Buford Academy in the fall has been doing great things, obviously, with football. Great to see them get back into the winning mode in spring sports, because we know that the winter sports, especially basketball, took a little bit of a hit this year. Great to see BA, which is a really good school, get back on the winning track this spring season, much like they did during the fall the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's been awesome to see that program really shine out there. Here we go. Maybe. Oh boy. 10-0 Hilton Head Prep over Spartanburg Christian.
Wow.
That's the mercy rule in skis. If you score 10, the game's over. So they are marching up in a semifinal. They're 10 goals. That is quite impressive.
It's very impressive.
So they're marching on to the state final. So both boys and girls from Prep and Buford Academy will all be playing for state titles. It is truly a soccer Saturday coming up. We have a lot going on the soccer pitch. So if you're a soccer fan, it'll be a fun afternoon in the Lowco and also in Columbia. We're gonna have a bunch of teams playing.
Got some good girls soccer coming up tomorrow with Hilton Head at Gray Collegiate, May River at Hartsville, and Bridges Prep at Atlantic Collegiate.
Indeed.
Along with the softball that we were talking about as well, with Colleton County at May River, Battery Creek at Aner, Philip Simmons at Bridges Prep, which is an elimination game. Another elimination game between Andrew Jackson and Hampton County, and Carvers Bay at Hardyville. JJ will be out coaching that one. That's another elimination game, all on the girls
I was
soccer and
thinking of going
softball
over there.
schedules for
I
tomorrow.
was originally thinking of going over there, but now since May River is home against Colleton County, it's a much shorter drive for me, and having to go all the way to Hardyville. Even May River is a 45-minute drive for me, and I live in Hilton Head, and it's a hike. It's a hike over there to May River, but that's certainly worth it going to see that game. So I am already pumped for what will be in store for tomorrow night at the Tank, and we will have all the coverage of that one tomorrow night. Talk about how that went down on Local Lowdown, and we'll have a Saturday of Local Lowdown as well, a special Saturday, because we have a bunch of stuff going on. So it is just continuing full throttle playoff mode here in spring sports. It's a ton of fun just to continue to track everyone and see how they're doing, and the madness that this week entails with so much going on. To keep track of everything, think Game Changers is your savior at this time of year, because it's sometimes it can be hard in other sports to kind of see how everything's going on, but definitely makes it easier for tracking both baseball and softball. But fun night tonight. It was a good night at Tank, and also a good night in Hardyville. Congratulations to the Canes getting the win over Green
stuff for sure
in the golden goal overtime, which is where you rarely see the golden goal overtime decide a winner, because it's only 5 minutes, 2 5 minute period. So you rarely ever see that side of the winner, but it did there in this one. I don't remember having a golden goal. I don't remember a team scoring in that session before. So that's pretty cool. And as we mentioned, to get Ridgeland in the rivalry clash on Monday. So that is pretty much it for today in terms of scores and in terms of what we will see coming up tomorrow. We just went through that. So Marcus Walsh, I will give you the floor for any parting thoughts you might have before we go off the air tonight. Marcus Walsh just left, so in that case, we are gonna probably shut this thing down if Marcus does not come back. I do not know what happened there, but we have surpassed an hour on tonight's local. I went through all the scores and some great ones across the local and beyond. Oh, that Hilton Head team getting the 1-0 win over Greer. Very, very impressed by the Seahawks and Bridges Prep. Another third walk off in the local in 2 days, and they continue to play on a lot of tremendous moments here. Got the overtime win for Hardyville. So some dramatic action across the Loco sports scene, and a lot more in store as we get ready for a Friday evening that should be action packed as well. So Marcus Walsh just left us. So on that note, is Marcus coming back? All right, Marcus Walsh is back. I'm not sure.
I can come back in. I had a phone call real quick that I had to take.
Okay.
And so that was my disappearance for a
Okay.
moment there.
No problem.
I was going to say, with the fact that we're planning on being at May River, I wonder what Max's plans are if he's going to head out to Hardyville to check out JJ's team.
Yeah, he might.
tomorrow.
I'm not sure what his plans are for tomorrow, but that would make a lot of sense if he decides to.
Because those
head
are
over
the
to-
two
yeah, those
games
the
that are
big ones.
really
Yeah, there were others, but there
local
are
for
some
us.
teams- Yeah, there are some teams playing on the road for sure. But yeah, before we wrap up tonight, any parting thoughts that you might have as we call the show?
Well, it was an interesting day around here. Really, really happy for May River, what they've been able to do.
Yep.
Certainly a great program. Like I mentioned, Bridges Prep and Hilton Head Prep doing great things. Buford Academy and Hilton Head Prep on the Skeeza side doing great things in spring sports. And then I just want to say again, JJ and I talked about it towards the top. Willie White getting the interim head coaching job, and he'll be at Whale Branch coaching football for at least the 25-26 season. I think, to have a good, solid guy in there that knows kids, knows the X's and O's, certainly, but also knows how things are going within certain aspects of the program and certain aspects of that part of this state. It's big because you lose a big name in Jerry Hatcher. You lose somebody that has been around the game and knows Whale Branch football. So to have some stability is going to be huge, and then we'll see what happens if he decides, or if they decide just 1 year, or possibly more. So
Yep.
great things happening here as the spring will turn to summer quickly, and then it'll be fall before long.
Yeah, and then I feel like once you get back to, or once you get through spring sports and we get in the summer, and all of a sudden you're getting ready for football season. So really is a quick turnaround, because I was actually listening to you on my drive home, and you were mentioning right at the end of June, it's like you're getting a full gear into football
Right.
season. It comes around quickly, and I'm excited. There's a lot of moving parts, obviously. My thoughts on that Whale Branch move that we mentioned earlier, which I can kind of put in as one of my parting thoughts here tonight. I'm excited for Willie White to get this opportunity, and
Me too.
it's big shoes to fill. Jerry Hatcher, a great guy throughout a number of years, did so many big things this program. So, this interim role, I mean, he's gonna get an opportunity to find his chance to deliver his stamp on this program, and I think these guys can be bought in for him. I think he's going to present a lot of energy and get these guys going the right direction heading into the season, because there've been a couple of tough years, at least this past year for Whale Branch, but certainly Jerry Hatcher has done just an amazing job, a larger than life guy. We'll miss his animated talks during games, after games, and in the media day festivities as well. But
I have a feeling, though, he'll be around.
yes, he will be.
I
I'm
don't
sure
think
he'll be
he's
at a
going
lot.
to just go off into the woods.
We need to have
I
him.
think he'll be
We
around.
need to have him as like an analyst. Like how they have
Great.
in college football, NFL. You got coaches as analysts, or sometimes in the studio. We need to have him as an analyst. I feel like he would be a great guy to have on, just to come in a couple times during the year and give his thoughts on what's going on. So I got to relay that to Justin, because I feel like he would be a great analyst guy to have as part of our football coverage.
I can tell you right now, if we happen to go at WHHI, if we happen to go to a game at Whale Branch, I'm going to see about at least getting a sideline interview with him, if not getting him a little bit of time with Daniel and I in the booth or on the sideline with our tent, as it were. That is especially if we end up going to Whale Branch. We'll have to see. But I was, like you said, JJ and I talked about it earlier too, getting excited for the season, trying to figure out scheduling. But I'm going to talk to Jeremy Pope about that at least a few weeks from now. He's a pretty busy guy in his own right.
Indeed, but yeah, we are already counting down the days and the weeks until football season begins. But obviously, spring sports are still wrapping up, and you have a lot of teams in contention for state championships, including a couple. And that leads to my next parting thought. I want to give another shout out to the Buford Academy Eagles, because I'm incredibly impressed by both those these boys and girls soccer teams. Ian Leslie coaching the boys, and then the girls team has been fantastic as well. For a year where Buford Academy has had some up and down struggles throughout other sports, and it's great to see the soccer teams carry in the spring, and be those great examples of excellent teams over there at Buford Academy. So congratulations to both those squads, and they hope they'll rep the Lowco well as they compete for state titles. And they got a bunch of terrific young players and outstanding soccer studs on both of those teams. And I think the girls have a great chance, and I think the guys have an opportunity as well to claim state championships for the Eagles. So excited for both of them. I have one more parting thought, which is related to not the Lowco, but to Major League Baseball. More specifically, my Boston Red Sox. The drama surrounding Rafael Devers has been such a key storyline this season, especially when you look about just the Red Sox and the beat writers and what's going on over there in Boston right now. But apparently they wanted Rafael Devers to move to first, which obviously was because of the Tristan Casas injury, that he's going to be out for the rest of the year. So the Red Sox are trying to kind of see what they can do in terms of who they could have playing first. And they suggested the question that, well, maybe we find a way to get Rafael Devers to play first and maybe open up a spot in the infield for someone else could take over. But Devers shut that down. He's the DH, and he said that he did not want to move over the first. So it doesn't look like that is going to happen. And obviously Bregman's at third, which what made Devers unhappy as well, because he has been playing third for the majority of his time in Boston, and moving to DH was certainly not his preference. So you're really testing the waters right now with Devers, who is unhappy with what has happened before this year. And you don't want, obviously you have him locked up long term, but you don't want to delve into, I understand, obviously it makes sense why they are contemplating this move to first when you lose a guy like Casas and you want to have someone competent playing first base. Although what do you think that Devers in terms of his ability over that first. Like I feel like he could be a competent first baseman, but how much time will it take for him to
I would agree.
really grasp at the major league level? So it's a very interesting and kind of sticky situation right now over in Boston with the whole Devers drama this year.
I completely agree, and I mean that AL East, it's it's always an interesting division. Obviously, everybody's beating up on everybody, but you could say that about every division.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the Yankees,
And,
you can never count them out, and some of the guys that Boston has, you can't count them
yeah.
out. Cleveland just went to Toronto last weekend, and they ended up taking 2 out of 3 against Toronto. Um, a team that I'm really interested to see how they do this weekend is from the NL, and that's the Philadelphia Phillies. They take on
Mm.
Cleveland, and Cleveland's starting tomorrow night. As you'll recall, my World Series pick for the year was Yankees and Phillies. So we'll see how that shakes out tomorrow night.
Interesting.
The thing is, it's still, we're just getting into the month of May.
Yeah.
Still got a
I
long
try
way
not
to
to look
go in
I
this
try not to look at the
season.
standings so much until like Memorial Day weekend because it is
Right.
a long 162 game marathon in Major League Baseball, and you don't want to get to the top of your division right now, but as you get further on, that's when it really kind of tells who's going to be contending deep into August and September in those divisions. But so far, the Cleveland Guardians are right where they want to be. They're sitting in a good spot to
And they're
begin the
not
year. So
even close to playing their best baseball yet,
yeah,
and that's a
indeed.
good thing.
But yeah, I mean, you can't count out the Rays, you can't count out Tampa, or you can't count out Toronto either. But I feel like you would have expected a little bit more from some of those teams, including the Blue Jays. But I, yeah, very very early in the season, Yankees off to a solid start. But when I look at the Red Sox, I think obviously it depends on what you're doing this time, a couple of months, and how aggressive you want to be at the trade deadline, because if there's a first baseman that you have your eye on and a chance to acquire someone that can really make a difference, it kind of just depends on where they are at that point. If they're playing good baseball at the time and they think that they can contend this year, I think you got to go all in and try to acquire someone in that position at the deadline. So it's
Could
kind of
not
too
agree
early.
more.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of too early to kind of make that call, but I think at this point you have to listen to Devers, and you cannot force him to making like potentially another position change, especially for a position where like we haven't really seen him much in his career, especially in the major league level. He's been primarily a third baseman, and you can understand why he can go to DH, but switching him to first feels a little bit unnatural for me. But I understand why the Red Sox are trying to do this. They're trying to find ways to win at this moment, which you need to do in order to make the playoffs. But
Yep.
it's definitely a tricky situation for the manager right now, and certainly it comes after losing one of your key guys in Tristan Casas, who's having an excellent start to the year, and that's obviously a huge blow when you lose a player like that. But hopefully, the pitching can and other areas can make up for that, and I still like the makeup of the roster, but that's certainly a tremendous blow to the skill of that team right now, not having Casas in the lineup. But a long season for sure over there in Major League Baseball, and I feel like you gotta be feeling good about your Guardians right now.
And
As we
I am. They're with yesterday's win, I think they're 20-9 since they opened up 3-6 to start the year. They're 8-4 overall in series, and this is going to be a big test for them. They came out just blazingly hot at home. This is going to be a big test for them, not only this weekend series against Philadelphia, but they have the Milwaukee Brewers,
ooh,
the Brew Crew coming in
yes,
next week. So that's always fun,
oh,
for a
that should be
couple of
going in.
different reasons.
Yeah, Cleveland
It's
not
going to
too
be
far
extra
away from Milwaukee.
special. I'm sure. Uh, Without Bob Euchre, tributes will
Yeah,
probably be
yep,
pouring in and whatnot.
indeed.
I have no doubt that it's always a little extra special, whether in Cleveland or in Milwaukee, for one Tom Hamilton, who's the radio play-by-play voice for the Cleveland Guardians and then the Cleveland Indians before that, of course, since 1990, as he was born and raised in Wisconsin, a Waterloo, Wisconsin native who got his first start doing play-by-play of a farm auction.
Oh wow!
Can't
So
imagine what
that's
that
how
would
we
have been
develop
like.
the voice, is by auctioning off things of the farm. That makes
There's
so much
another
sense to me.
pig.
I mean, yeah, you have to have that voice inflection when you're an auctioneer and doing that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's funny. That totally makes sense. But yeah, good stuff there.
Good
Looking
tail on that
forward
one.
to, yes. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's show. A great night of Loco Sports, a couple of fun ones, and some dramatic finishes, both on the baseball and the soccer scenes. And do it all again tomorrow. A
Yes,
lot,
indeed.
yes. Obviously the big games to watch. The one in May River, the softball clash between the Maver Sharks and the College County Cougars. Also got Battery Creek in here, Philip Simmons at Bridges Prep, Andrew Jackson, Hampton County, Carvers Bay at Hardyville, and then the three matchups in the second round for girls soccer and 4A. Hilton Heads at Gray Collegiate, which is a very winnable game for them. I think they have a great chance to pull off an upset there. May Rivers at Hartsville, another team that could pull off a shocker. And then Bridges Prep at Atlantic Collegiate to close out that slate. So should be a fun one tomorrow, Friday night in the Loco and beyond the Loco for some road games as well. So that'll wrap things up. We thank you. We thank all our sponsors for their support, and we thank all of you for listening and watching tonight. So for Marcus Walsh and Justin Jarrett, who joined us and started off the show, this is Wes Kerr saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening once again. And until Friday night, go look.
The Loco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports